people. Mm-hmm. The RedStone family. They're Ashkenazi who own BET. And now look what's on BET. I mean, a lot of it's negative stereotypes and stuff like that. If black people own their own media, they wouldn't allow a lot of negative stereotypes even on there. Now, let's go back to American black culture back like 1950s, 1960s. They had very low divorce rates. They all dressed really nice. They were all polite and everything like that, you know, and with any culture. But everything started going downhill when they had somebody else take control over their media and started profiting off their own demise. Because I remember even hearing Kanye West talking about this, like 1990s. That's when all this like gangster stuff coming out.
Yeah.
And they had all these like self-demeaning music videos and everything like that. Missy Elliott and calling herself a bitch. They're all using the N-word and stuff like that. It's all like self-depreciation. But you have another group of people destroying somebody else's culture and making a ton of money in the process.
Right.
And that's not right.
And they're making them look bad.
BET and all that, they should own their own media. Everyone should own their own media. But when you don't own your own media, that's what exploit you for their own profit and to your own demise, man.
And they control you, basically.
And they control you. They control which way you vote and everything through that, too.
Shalom. I'd like to say all praises due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash, double honors apostles of great millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. My name is Kanawak from GMS Toronto, and it's going to be in regards to the RedStone family, which are Edomites, and that has BET, Black Entertainment Television, right? Which word, calling yourself black basically means deaf, right? Calling yourself black is basically you're of a dead status. That's what basically that's why Esau calls us black. He gives us these bywords, but Esau knows exactly who we are. They know exactly who we are, and the RedStone. I did a little research. Cause I've been hearing, that BET was run by the so-called Ish people, right? But there's more information coming out, right? And then you have this guy, Tyler Perry, which he has I guess Medea's house and all this shit where this guy will he put on a dress. They're all into that whole like they're all into that Luciferian way of life, where it's basically do as thou will, and that's what they're doing, right? And these so-called boule, they sold out, they sold out their own people, right? And basically Esau, these high elites, the bankers or whatever, they're basically under the the elites' feet. They're bowing down to Esau, and basically that they're destroying our own people. Esau is using Jake, so-called black people, to destroy their own, and that's why they have this Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, right? And they have all these different actors and rappers and all manners of industry. Esau infiltrates, just like the Jesuit society, in the church, right? They're always infiltrated. There's always an agent, in all industry, right? This is what Esau does, right? So let's get that. So this is Summer Moray Redstone, or Rushdie, um, born May 27th to 1923 and August 11th to 2020. I guess he died 5 years ago. Brakataya Bashim Ashai was an American billionaire businessman and media magnate. He was the founder and chairman of the second incarnation of Viacom, um, chairman of CBS Corporation. Both companies merged in 2019, a year before Redstone death, right? And basically, like, this is the guy, and they have all these different industries, right? And you can't even talk about it, but these are the people that run the world. They run the banks, they run Hollywood, they run entertainment. Um, they run all industries, and they're making trillions of dollars, man. Because this is their world, right? And you can't even call up, like you can't even call these people out, because they're gonna like ban your videos, you know, like put a strike on your video and all this shit, man. But I was gonna get this so like Psalm 73. So like Psalm 73 and 7. Yeah, I started Psalms 73 and 3. I started at 1. Psalm 73 and 1. Truly, Yahweh is good to Israel, even such as are of a clean heart, of a clean mind, right? And that's what the Lord is dealing with the elect, right? Even though our righteousness is filthy rags, but the Lord only dealing with the elect right now. The whole nation of Israel, they're wicked. They don't know the Lord. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envy at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. And these Edomites, they're living very luxurious. They have an estate, a lot of land. They have a lot of cattle. They run all industries. They run the banks, the banking institutions around the world, the International Monetary Fund. These are the people that run the world, man. And we don't have the power, right? Even though Jake is, certain Jake is living affluent, they have billions or millions of dollars, but you know, you're never gonna be on the level like Esau, like the elite of Esau, man. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm, right? Because they have generational wealth. They have family trusts. They have family inheritance that they pass down, to every generation. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men, right? So that's why the elites of Esau, they're living very fat, right? But as a whole now, the average Edomite, the so-called middle class and the poor Edomite, they're catching hell right now, man. Right, the curses is I believe it's Deuteronomy 32, I believe. where the curses are gonna befall our enemies, man. They are pride Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could desire. Look at the Rothschild family. They have, they've been in power, for hundreds of years, man. Right, and that's a big family, the Red Shield family, the Rothschild, right, with Meyer Amschel Bauer. His actual name was Bauer, but he changed the name to Rothschild, which means Red Shield. So they know who they are, just like that guy, the RedStone, or Rothstein. They know exactly who they are. They know that they're Edomites, that they're the Idumeans, that the Redman, Edom, from Rome, right? And it shows you, that we're in Rome all over again. We're in, all over. That's why Washington D.C. a couple, I believe in the 1700s, a couple hundred years ago, Washington D.C. was actually named Rome, right? The Washington D.C. was actually named Rome, right? So we're in spiritual Rome, that Esau has set up. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. That's what Esau does. Esau wants to have us have a bad stain on a nation. That's what they use these different actors, these athletes, the entertainers, to distract our people, to dumb our people down. You know, they they set their mouth against the heaven, and their tongue a and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people, therefore his people return hither and watch the cup are wrung out unto them. And they said, how does Yahweh know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Because these people don't worship the Most High, right? Esau, these banking family, this whole Edomite setup that Esau has set up, is to basically like to keep our people down, and they're doing witchcraft, and sorcery, right, to try to like oppress us, and to keep their keep his foot on their neck. Like that's what Esau is doing. Esau wants to have complete power over us, right? And that's why the 2/3 they're going to be destroyed, man, in America, right, through nuclear fire, according to the Bible. So First Maccabees 1, I started at 10. And there came out them a wicked wrote Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, right? So the Seleucus family, right? Because you had Alexander had four generals, I believe. Castleman, or that I guess Castle, I think Castelamancus, the Ptolemy. There's two other ones, right? And they basically after Alexander the so-called great, or the pagan, after that guy died, right, he had four generals that came, which were Edomites. So Antiochus the king, who had begun a hostage, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. And those days there came out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen round about us, from since we are departed from them, we are Messiah. That's what they did, even back then, during the Greek captivity. these so-called sellouts, just like these sellouts now, right? These so-called boule, these Prince Hall Masons, Scottish Rite, York Rite, that Jake is a part of. They did their same thing back then, right? And they started, uh, made an alliance with Esau and the heathen, so that they could make profit, and basically, like forget about the Most High, like that's what they did. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were forward herein. They went to their king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. So that's what they did. Just like now, they have the 501c3 charter. Um, this whole masonry, right? There's certain perks of being a mason, being initiated. There's all these different things, like there's all the different perks if you sell out, right? And that's what our people are doing. Our people are selling out. Whereas they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, right? And that's what they did, right? They basically like the whole gymnos, which means naked, right? So they set up these gyms and all these different institutions, and they were walking naked back then, and just like like now, the women are basically naked. You can see you can see their fat pussy. You know, I'm being in the graphic. You can see the pussy print or the camel toe. And the big breasts or whatever, big ass. That's what's going on in Babylon, man. And in our kingdom, we aren't gonna have no place of exercise where people's gonna be running up and down and being naked, half naked, and all this shit. Everything gonna be done decently in order, and them and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the whole covenant. So that's what they did. They uncircumcised. They were uncircumcised in heart, because a lot of them were circumcised, right? But they started following the ways of the Greco-Roman way of life, and basically their children became indoctrinated and stopped circumcising their children. Like when you read about Maccabees first, when you read about the Maccabees, that's what it goes into, and that's why Judas Maccabees, he was fighting, his family, they were fighting, to keep righteousness in Israel, and that's what this whole book is about. Very good book. And joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief, right? And that's what's going on. Our people are mischievous, man, right? They have Sexy Red now, which is she's a CI plant. The NWA, Ice Cube, he was a plant. They're all plants. This whole entertainment industry, they're all Luciferians and devil worshippers, man. These people don't worship the Most High. They're doing all kind of rituals, that they have to worship these deities, and that's what's going on, a lot of witchcraft, a lot of folly, man. This is pretty much it. This is didn't want to go too long. So with that, let this all praise is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kodash, double and spots of great millstone, peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.